Raiders Gameday, Amber Theoharis along with James Jones and Eric Allen. A 40-6 loss is anything but what the Raiders wanted in Indianapolis on the road. They are now 1-4 on the season. And fellas, it just seems like the season is heading in the wrong direction. After the last loss, there were things to build upon. None of that was built upon, and this was just a tough day, EA.
Without a doubt. I mean, there's no sugarcoating this. They got their butts kicked today, and really surprising that there was not any kind of fight back and push. Didn't see either side of the ball, special teams. We talked about this so many times last week, playing complementary football, having all three phases, trying to help each other out. And from today's standpoint, you go back east and you think you kind of have things dialed in and put together, be able to focus on the running game. Defense performance last week was really good. Didn't build on any of those things. And that's what can happen when you're facing a football team that has a terrific running back, great game plan, and beat us at every phase of the game today.
Yeah, I was putting my earpiece in because I was still trying to figure out what we was calling on offense. We ain't come out with no sense of urgency. I don't even really see a game plan that we had other than the first drive. Our first 15 was legit, but other than that, after that, offensively, we had no chemistry, we had no energy, we had no rhythm, we had no nothing. And to be honest with you, when you go on a road like this, you know it's going to be a tough football game. Against a team playing with a lot of confidence, and we just did not come out with no energy. And to be honest with you, I thought we was kind of past that as a football team, especially these type losses like this.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. The disappointment is that after last week's loss, it was a 1-point loss to the Bears.
Exactly.
And you felt like they were about to get over the hump, but then things happen like special teams. Take a look at, we have a problem. We have a problem on special teams. Take a look. It happened again today. The last 3 weeks, special teams has had a play that has negatively impacted the game. Today, there was the missed field goal. Right after that, the blocked punt. Last week, the game should have been won by the Raiders.
That's right.
And it was blocked. The field goal was blocked. A guy came around the edge. Week 3 at the Commanders, they allowed a 69-yard opening kickoff return and allowed a punt return for a touchdown. And actually, there was a return for a touchdown today and then got bailed out by the refs with the flag there with holding, so got lucky. So, I mean, we always say this, when you're talking about special teams, something's really wrong, because that is not a unit that should be defining the game. But for the Raiders, they're making a huge negative impact on the game, and this is difficult for McMahon's group.
And we have to kind of go into the numbers and bring up special teams. Ultimately, it comes down to turnovers, okay? And all those games where the special teams could have made or broke the game for us in a positive or a negative way, it comes down to protecting the football.
It does, man.
And you can't just be loose with the football and expect to come up with big-time wins if other portions of your football team are not playing up to task. And that's the issue right now, is that the turnovers. We have to find a way to win the turnover battle at the end of each football game. And that's really been the critical issue right now with this football team, is not winning a turnover battle.
Yeah, and like we always say, on the road, special teams, defense, travel.
Yes.
If you got a special teams and the defense that travel, you're going to be in the football game. All right, if you do not turn the football over, you're going to be in the football game. We started off 1-0, won the turnover battle. We've lost the turnover battle 4 straight weeks in a row. 4 straight weeks in a row we've lost the turnover battle, and we were 0-4. Yeah. So defense and special teams have to travel, and we got to protect the football, man. We're a better football team than we're putting on tape, and I think that's the disappointing thing right here, because our quarterback's better than he's playing right now. We got better players than they're playing right now. We're a better football team than we're putting on the grass right now, and that's the disappointing part.
And there's a lot of blame to go around. To get a better perspective, let's go. We're going to wait for just a minute. We're going to bring Kirk Morrison as he's getting ready from Indy. But third down from the defense, like, we can blame everybody, right? There was nobody, no unit that didn't do something wrong. You could talk about Geno's had 9 interceptions through 5 weeks. You could talk about the special teams graphic we just showed you. Today, the defense that seemed to be the bright spot of this team allowed 8 for 10 on third down. Like, only 2 third downs did they hold them on. And that
cannot happen.
That cannot happen. That's just going to allow a team to put 40 points on you. But
and then win what? What's your favorite stat, Amber?
time of possession
That's
and
right.
turnover battle.
That's right. They keep the ball away all day.
I mean, look, you know what's funny is I think actually, let me double check here. The Raiders actually won the time of possession because they had that huge first quarter drive where they held the ball for 10, 11 minutes and come away with 3 points. That's kind of where it started. They had a couple drives where they were able to, so they won the time possession, but as you go back to turnovers.
Yeah.
It's always going to come down to
But
turnovers.
they won that too also because short fields. They blocked the punt. They got interceptions. The Colts was playing on our side of the field all game long, so they need a lot of time.
Yeah. All right, let's go out to Kirk Morrison, who's ready now from Indianapolis. And Kirk, look, you always break this down in a very direct way, and that's why we appreciate you coming on. But look, as we just said, there's plenty of blame to go around. What's the number one observation you have that sticks out about tonight?
I think, again, it's special teams that sticks out the most. The block punt, missed field goal. You almost had a return for a touchdown if it wasn't for a holding call against the Colts. So to me, that right now, every single week, it seems the special teams has had a breakdown or a letdown, and that's where I'm going to start at first. But if you go to the offense and outside of that first drive where they really got some things going, but to me, and JJ, you know this, right? It's the script. And so what does this team do when they get off the script? And I didn't like the way that the offense just seemed to stall. They never really got things going, didn't see the consistency. They got away from the running game a little bit, even though Ashton was over 5 yards a carry. And that was the frustrating part. And I think you guys have already mentioned it a little bit. That third down defense just has to be better. They couldn't get off the field. It was finished up 8 for 10, but for the most part, it was what I thought the poor tackling on those underneath routes by some of the receivers of the Colts. They turned 5-yard routes into 10-yard gains, or a 2-yard catch turns into a 10-yard gain. That, to me, ultimately is what really I thought decided the football game today.
Kirk, JJ here. First off, you don't play linebacker no more, so smile. All right.
Hey, man.
We could have used
Hey, man.
You know, but no, you're exactly right, because the first 15 scripted plays, they go down there, they on script, right? Besides the sack in the red zone, work to T. Yeah. I have not seen us be good at adjustments, either coming out of the second half when we see how the defense is trying to approach us and play us now, with us adjusting on the fly, we have not been good. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Well, I'm going to put some of that on. It's like 2 steps forward and 1 step back, right? You go 2 steps forward, and then you have a holding call, or you have a drop, or you have a receiver who runs the wrong route, and Geno Smith throws an interception. Like, it's those consistency. I haven't seen the consistency that I want from this football team offensively, that they don't have to necessarily make the adjustments. But look, let's be honest. We knew going in it was going to be tough to move the football. You didn't have Michael Mayer. You didn't have, Brock Bowers. You didn't have, on the left side, Colton Miller. So you're going to have to find a way to manufacture some points. Now, the only thing is sometimes you have to be perfect. And then when you're not perfect, this is what happens. And you couldn't get the conversions that were needed. And then you're on the sideline. And the Colts offense, all they did was do what? It was like a fast break offense. They were getting 5 and 6. And you're sitting on the sideline, and the offense just didn't have enough time to get back out there and play consistently throughout their drives.
We talked earlier about the next man up mentality today.
Sure.
And even though the tight ends didn't play a huge part in this football game, how do you think going forward this coaching staff is going to have to mix and match some things so we will have some opportunities offensively?
Yeah, it's going to be about the health. Obviously, those tight ends, hopefully getting Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers back will help out. But if there's one positive that I'm going to run with right now is what we thought was going to be troublesome the first 3 weeks of the season, we found a running game. We found Ashton Jeanty. He's proven to be why he's one of the best backs, I think, young backs in the NFL. Over 100 yards from scrimmage today between rushing and receiving. That is the positive. So right now, if you ask me, how do we get out of this slump? The offense, with Brock Bowers being out, has to go through Deuce, Ashton Jeanty, go through number 2. And we saw some of that today. Hey, they went old school for a little bit. We saw some option with Geno and Ashton Jeanty, right? Hey, like, those are the types of creative plays that I did see, man. You know, they faked the draw play, and Geno popped out, and then they threw a couple passes down the field. So we saw some things in that aspect. I love the catch-and-go elements of Trey Tucker. Just get him the ball in space. I think there's some things and positives that I like about the offense. It's just the consistency on, to me, making sure you're doing that play in and play out. You can't take a play off. This offense just can't overcome that with some of the injuries that you do have.
So now we know, right? You played at a high level in this league, and you know you can go out there and you can have 42 tackles and you can lose the game because the most important position is the quarterback spot. And our quarterback has not been playing good football. What's just your impressions from watching him week 1 through week 4 play? Is it something that you're seeing that he did week 1 that he's not doing these last couple weeks that, why is he struggling?
I think it's been a roller coaster, right? You've seen the ups and then you've seen the downs. And what, to me, after week 1, the health of Brock Bowers, to me, obviously has changed the way this offense has played. JJ, there's not a guy right now, and this is no offense to the players, but who do you fear if Brock Bowers is out of the game? I love Trey Tucker. I love Jacoby Myers. And I love the guy Dante Thornton. But one-on-one, I think you saw there's these defensive backs around the league. Everybody's playing top-down, umbrella defense, keeping everything in front. No one's scared to get beat behind or get beat deep by the Raiders because they're not running behind them. So what does that mean? Well, Geno has to figure out ways to not get greedy and take the deep throw, take the underneath. Be methodical in your approach. And that's one thing I see is that he's trying to get the ball deep down the field instead of being methodical. And I'll also throw this at you. Week 1, Geno had a scramble. And I said, man, he doesn't look 100%. Has Geno used his legs at all this season outside of week 1? And today he used it and got a first down. Utilize, put some pressure on the defense. JJ, you asked me if I put my linebacker hat on, if for some reason I'm in coverage and Geno takes off and runs, guess what? Now it's in my mind. I got to keep my eye on the quarterback. He's just not doing that. And I think the rush from other teams is just saying, you know what? If he's going to be a statue in the pocket, we're going to tee off, and that's where we're seeing the pressure come from.
And also, what are your thoughts on the decision-making? It just seems like he's hesitating. He's holding the ball for long periods of time when a decision could have been made sooner.
Well, I think when you have the arm of Geno, you feel like you can make every play. You feel like you can get it into those tight windows. But let's be honest, the separation right now is not there. So if you see that every time he's made some of these throws, it's been a contested throw. It's been 2 or 3 guys in the vicinity. You don't see the wide open players. And I don't know if that's a scheme thing. I don't know if it's a player situation, or is it just do the check down? Whereas today, Daniel Jones didn't really complete any passes over 10 yards. Everything was what? 5 yards, 8 yards, 7 yards. And they were methodical with their approach, and that's why you saw the consistent drives from the Indianapolis Colts today.
Last one for me, Kirk, and we talk about this all the time, how that middle linebacker and those linebacker positions is a connection between the front and the back. It didn't seem like we had much pressure on the quarterback today. What do you think that was a result of?
Daniel Jones got rid of the football quickly, right? Think about it. It was 1, 2, 3, and throw. He wasn't back there scanning the defense. Their game plan today, the Colts, was get the ball out of Daniel Jones's hands and let their playmakers just make plays with the football, whether it was Tyler Warren, whether it was Downs. And you ask him to make a couple plays deep down the field, but they've got one of the best backs who's leading the NFL in rushing in Jonathan Taylor. So getting him the football early, I thought the Raiders defense bottled him up. But when you just have to keep run after run after run in the second half, I thought the Raiders defense just wore down. And I tell you this, if I'm playing as many plays as that, you just kind of get frustrated to where you're trying to do things you shouldn't be doing. You're trying to get at the ball, trying to create a spark, a turnover, and it never came today. And that's why I felt that this defense just got tired at the end.
If there's one silver lining, they did hold Jonathan Taylor to 66 yards on the ground, the league-leading rusher. So I guess we look for the little things here to build on. Kirk Morrison, thanks a lot for joining us. We appreciate
it. But he still got in the end zone, though. Amber, he still got the end zone.
I'm trying, man.
About the end zone.
I'm trying.
Hey,
got
man.
my black on.
No, you can't get in the end zone, though. No, you can't let him get in the end zone.
And while we're
like
at it,
that.
you said there weren't people open in that pick for Geno. There was a wide open guy in the end zone in the tight end, but I was trying to let that one slide too. But while we're in our honesty era, all right, moving on. Kirk Morrison, thanks a lot for being here there with us. We appreciate it. We'll see you in Tennessee. All right, so we're going to take a break. When we come back, Pete Carroll has taken the podium. We're going to bring you out to Indianapolis and hear what he has to say about the Raiders being 1-4. Raiders Game Day is brought to you by America First Credit Union, the official credit union of the Las Vegas Raiders. Allegiant, the official airline of the Raiders. Low fares, nonstop flights, only at Allegiant.com. Modelo, a reward for those with a fighting spirit. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Drink responsibly, imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois. And by Cox, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Welcome back to Raiders Game Day. The Raiders lose to the Colts 40-6 as they leave Indianapolis 1-4. And there's so many things that went wrong in this game, but we kind of can focus on Ashton Jeanty. It is clear, as Kirk said, that they have their guy. They've got a legit running back. How can they put him in a better position? Look, it's not easy when both your number one, your number two tight end is out, and then also your starting left tackle is out. And he still they used him in different ways. They used him out of the backfield. He had over 40 yards catching, so over 100 yards from scrimmage. Did we kind of see that evolution in his game, JJ?
Yeah, I mean, we've been saying that. We've been saying the dude showed us in college that he could run and catch. We need to get him the ball running and catching. And we should have been giving him the ball early and often during the season from week one. We waited a little bit too long, but he's getting going. That's the positive. But to be honest with you, even if your running back's getting going, you can't be behind the sticks. We have to be ahead of the sticks. We had a lot of third and longs today, and that's not going to help your run game. And then when you're down by 20, then 25, then 30, the run game is gone. So we got to keep the score close, and we got to stay ahead of the sticks so he can do his job. And if we can do that, it's going to be tough to stop him.
All right, for more reaction about the game, let's go back out to Indianapolis and welcome in Jack Bech. And Jack, we really appreciate you joining us. I'm sorry that the first time we get to talk to you is after a game like this, but good to see you in there. Good to see you contributing. What was the message in the locker room? I know that you were just in there, probably had a chance to hear from Pete Carroll. Can you tell us a little bit about going forward, what the mentality is?
Yeah, it's been the same message. We just got to stick together. We got to make sure everybody, just keeps doing what we're doing. We go to work every day to get better. You got to make the guy across from you feel you. Offense to defense, defense to offense. Just have to keep getting better and better every day and every game. This is a league where, it's a marathon, not a race. So, as long as we just keep doing, what we're doing, we stick together. We stay as a family like we are, and we just keep grinding, keep getting better every day. Everything's going to work out well and go good.
Jack, what's going on? My man James Jones here. Just watching the offense, man, from week one, now these last 4 weeks, man, it kind of just seems like we had a standstill, man. We had a red light, trying to figure out kind of what kind of offense we trying to be. I know each week we go into practice and we work on the things that we did not do well in the game, but what's one of the main reasons that this offense really can't get going? You guys have really good drives at times, then we just kind of hit a red light.
Yeah, I think not just offense, but obviously the defense has been playing lights out. But we're just young. We have a lot of stuff that we're just working on and getting through each and every day. Like I said, we figure it out each and every week, and like I kind of said earlier, we just have to be better. Everybody, starting with us, up to everybody. There's really no excuse for what's been going on. We just have to be better. And sometimes stuff like this happens. It's not easy to come out here and win games in the NFL. So, like I said earlier, everybody just has to stick together, stay together, keep going, keep grinding. And like you said, at some points we look freaking unstoppable, and then others we don't, so it's just a way to get that run game, that pass game going, all at the same time, just keep pressing on people.
Hey, Jack, what are the things in practice that are positive and things you think that can work and help you out that's not translating into the game?
What do you mean by that exactly?
Like as far as complementing each other, as far as if you're in third and medium, third and long, those things that you're working on in practice that obviously are working and you're excited and think that can work in the game, and then in the game they're not working out for you guys.
Yeah, I don't think that's only a question for us. I feel like that happens to every team. Like I said, in practice, we get the looks we need. We're doing what we're supposed to do. Everybody is on point, knows what they're doing, knows alignment, assignment, technique. We just, like I said, we just got to keep going, And like I said, we go to practice every day. If you watch practice, whoever watches practice, we go hard. We're not just out there being lackadaisical. We're out there giving everything we got every day. So, I have no doubt in my mind. We have a great coaching staff. We have great players, and I have no doubt in my mind that, we're going to figure this thing out. We're going to get answers. And like I said earlier, it's a marathon, not a race. And I have no question that, we're going to put the right foot up, and we're going to keep going, and we're going to get this thing back on track.
Jack, we really like seeing you out on the field. We hope to see you out there more, get some more opportunities as you grow. Like you said, it's a young offense. You, Ashton, Dante, a bunch of young guys out there, but we know it'll click. And thanks for spending some time with us. Have a safe trip back here to Vegas.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Y'all have a blessed night.
Thank you,
You as well. All right, let's go back out to Indy, where we're told Pete Carroll just took the podium. So here's what the coach had to say.
Well, it's really disappointing for us to go out there and have such a hard time getting in this game. The things happened early enough to got us behind, and just felt like we just needed to hang and keep going and stay close. And the game got away because we couldn't score enough. And so there's big plays that are happening to us that just have to be solved. We have to get the kicking game cleaned up. We can't let this happen. And with the blocks and the significant field changes, they're just huge to deal with. So you couple that with with a couple turnovers. I think one of them was really obviously questioned. It was a huge play in the game when we're down there going in and the ball gets tipped up in the air and they catch it. And a guy sitting in the neutral zone, I'm pretty sure you guys would know better if you've seen it. But we have to overcome that kind of stuff, and we just don't seem to be able to find the way to do that yet. We believe we're going to be much better than this. Well, the coaches do and the players do, and we feel like we can prove it by the way we're working and the way we're preparing and all. But you got to take it to the game, and we've not got that done enough in the last couple of weeks here. That's just the Commanders game, this game, were similar in that we just couldn't get out of our own way enough. So we had a lot of work to do. I mean, we have to keep believing, and we have to keep proving it. And the young guys that got a chance to play today will be better for it in the long run of it. But we need to get our guys back out there too, and the guys to go to. And so we'll see how we can do next week. We'll start all over again.
Pete, I think at one point they were 8 or 9 on third down.
Yeah.
And that's just obviously that's going to lead to bad stuff. There was one on 3rd and 12 when the game's 3-0. I think you guys were leading.
Yeah.
How much of a backbreaker is?
Yeah, they were 7 for 8 in the first half. And they were able to get their conversions. We had calls, and you have game plan things that you're trying to get done, and they out executed us in the throwing and catching part of it, and we weren't able to get off the field, and that's why they sustained their drives, and they only had a few in the second half, but that was the issue. I mean, the stat line is, it's an even looking game. If you would never think the score would be like that by looking at the stat line, and on almost any aspect of it, from run to pass to penalties, you name it. So inside of that, though, the game is we have to get off the field. We've got to make our plays when we get our chances, and we got to stay away from the extremely big plays that happen, the punt block and losing the ball on the interception down there. So those things are so significant that they're factoring into the game.
Obviously, multiple people didn't perform well, but was there any consideration to going with Kenny at all?
Yeah, I was thinking that if there was a reason to do that, but here's the reason why I didn't do that. We need to stay out there and keep practicing. We need to keep practicing. We need the reps. We need the turns. We need to run the system. We need to feel it. We need to see the guys get their opportunities to improve. It's not like a big change. I thought about it, because there was a chance to do that. It's the same thing with Max. I was going to get Max out of there, and I'm fighting with him. He wants to play, but that's normal. But that's not what's necessary. We need to get better and get right. So these are the games that we're working on, and these are the games we have to learn from and grow from, so that we can change the course of the way things are going. And there's nobody in there that doesn't feel like that. And so we're going to go right back at it again.
Is Geno, do you feel like he's pressing at all at this point? And how do you?
I don't know if that's your word. I think it's hard. Yeah, I think it's been hard. It hasn't been easy. It's been tough to get the big plays in the last couple of weeks, and they give you the easy scores. Even go back to the Commanders game. We exploded a bunch of times in that game, and so it just makes things all of those other plays you don't have to call in between there, But it's hard, and he cares so much, and it's so important to him to try to come through for everybody else, and he wants to play well and all that. You just have to, in my mind, you have to wash out the ball that gets tipped. That play shouldn't have happened, and should never have been there. And so we throw the ball into a little coverage there, and another time the guy gets the pick. But you can't make excuses for him. You just got to live with it and grow and see if we can eliminate him.
In regards to Brock, I know you had expectation that he could have played it.
Yeah, I thought he would.
What changed within the Friday?
He just didn't. We were going to rest him all the way through the week, and he thought, we all thought that was going to make a difference. But as he got down to it on Saturday, he couldn't feel it. He couldn't get right, and so. Kind of happened with Stokesy too. Stokes, he practiced during the week and got through it, but it just didn't. His knee didn't respond well enough to feel like he can go 1,000 miles an hour out here on game day. So, a little wishful thinking, a little, optimism, relentless optimism, might have caught us a little bit there. And if Brock could have played, he would have. If Stokes could have played, he would have. And we thought that by resting them, it would make a difference, and we didn't get as much out of that as we'd hoped.
You guys in there were talking leadership, the importance of it right now more than ever. How confident are you that they're the leaders in that locker room to where this can't?
I have no problem. I have no hesitation in telling you that. There's enough guys that have been around their own places or been around with us, and guys that we know well. That's not the issue.
Is there any update on Jermaine?
Yeah, just decided to go with the other guys.
What did you see on the first drive you guys had? Was that the tone you were trying to set,
Yeah.
and then what made it?
Yeah, I think it was 2nd and 3, and we got sacked, and we got knocked out of, and then we wound up 3rd and 12 or something like that. It was just unfortunate. I don't know about the play in particular, why we cut it. We didn't really cut a guy loose. We got covered up a little bit, and he had to hold it, and then it worked against us. Unfortunately, that would have been obviously a great drive to consummate that. I don't know. It must have been 7 or 8 minutes or 8 or 9 minutes or whatever it was. It was perfect, really. And then we get a big play and we get knocked out. So 3 points was all it was. Which at the time you think, okay, we moved football. And we felt good about it, and it was a very good opening drive. But then you look at it took a long time to ever get another point.
What kind of conversations do you and the coaching staff have with Geno now, just moving forward from this game?
We're all in this thing together, and it's, we talk through all of the hard conversations about things we might not agree with, and then the things we agree with, and we'll just put it together and just keep working. The intention and the purpose is connected, and we just have to get the results that comes out of that, and make sure we're making clear decisions, the right ones, the right choices, working with particularly the experienced players, the guys that have an opinion and they know a lot, and G's one of those guys.
For you, you came in here with expectations of winning games this year. How are you processing what's happened?
I'm processing it poorly. I'll tell you the truth, because I did expect to win right out of the chutes, but what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling is I know by the way we're working, because I've watched a lot of teams work and develop your system, your belief in it, and knowing who you can count on and who you can trust and all of that. That is ongoing, and it feels like we're going in a good direction in that sense. It's not showing up here. Don't forget last week we had the winning drive. We go down the field, kick field goal, win the game. Okay, that was last week. It was 1 point. It feels like a million miles away from that. But that was that week. And then this week is a whole different situation. And this was the result was very similar to the Commanders game. And so. Hoping we go back home, we play right again, and we get a game going and get moving. It's going to start sometime, and then I'm just kind of waiting for that moment where we kick it in. We have the answers. We make the right choices. We make the right plays, the right calls. It's on us, all of us. It's not on the players. It's on all of us to get that right. Myself totally included in all of that. And then we go, and that's how I've always seen it. And I thought it would be last week at home. I thought that we're going on the road and we're going to get it done this week. And I'm going to keep thinking that way. I told them I'm going to keep believing, and I hope that you guys will do the same thing until we get this thing right.
That, Brock's, this injury has gotten worse and could lead to him missing more time outside of this game?
I don't know. I got to talk to the guys about that. I don't know about that. This was just couldn't quite get it done. On Saturday's walkthrough, it was really when he said, I don't have it, So, well, it's day to day. Sorry.
That's good. Thanks, Coach.
All right, Pete Carroll being very candid when he said I'm processing it poorly.
Yeah.
Expected to win games. So did a lot of Raiders fans. All right, when we come back, we're going to take a break here on Raiders Game Day. Geno Smith has finally made his way to the press. We're going to hear what he has to say about another struggle performance out there in Indy. This segment of Raiders Game Day has been brought to you by America First Credit Union, the official credit union of the Las Vegas Raiders. Welcome back to Raiders Game Day. The Raiders lose 40-6 to the Indianapolis Colts. They now are 1-4 on the season, and we just heard from Pete Carroll, and he was asked directly if he felt that a change might be necessary to move away from Geno Smith. Remember that they do have Kenny Pickett, who is a former first-round pick, on the roster as the backup. We also have seen the sample size of Kenny Pickett's career. There's a reason he's now a backup. You know, people can't think that's an automatic fix, and it seemed like Pete Carroll said he does not feel that is necessary right now, even in a 40-6 game where some people might have thought, you know what, throw him in.
Get him some work.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And
I think a lot
he
of
has
it,
faith in Geno.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too is the shortness of preseason and the amount of young players we have on this football team right now. It's an opportunity, like Coach said, is to get reps, you know, for everyone to be on the same page. You have Jack Bech, who's his second game, and he's in the motion concept with a young running back coming, with a new offensive lineman on the left side. So all those things have to work together, and sometimes in practice, you don't have the ability because of the, you know, shortened week and the traveling to really get all of that with the defense going full speed. So this is the opportunity to get, when you're having full speed reps against, you know, pro competition, to hopefully figure out these young guys to be able to how they're going to relate to, you know, the number one defense on your opposing team. So hopefully these kind of situations, not many of them are left, but hopefully these things kind of help us out.
Well, yeah, for me, though, it's not about making a change and getting Geno Smith out of there because he's been struggling. But when you're losing the way we have lost a couple games this season, put Kenny Pickett in there and see what he can do. Not only that, Geno Smith has been struggling. So now you're losing the game and he's struggling, and you're putting him in pass situation only for him to make another mistake. That's not going to help his confidence. Put Kenny Pickett out there. We don't know if Geno Smith is the future of this team. We don't know that. We know that we've seen Daniel Jones, we've seen Sam Darnold, we've seen the Baker Mayfields who got second and third opportunities to play, and they are having success. Kenny Pickett can step into this offense and look good. That still doesn't mean you bench Geno, but that does mean if something happens to Geno down the road, you have confidence in putting Kenny Pickett in the game. Right now, you don't even know or have a clue what he's going to look like. And you had an opportunity in a couple games this season to get him some time in there because it has gotten out of hand for us. I would have loved to see him get in there today, man, and try to move the ball a little bit.
We're waiting for Geno to take the podium, by the way. We're going to bring you out there as soon as he does. But when you throw 9 interceptions in 5 weeks, I mean, take a look at some of his interceptions. It's been pretty bad. And I know that Kirk Morrison, he came on and said he didn't see a lot of separation today. I don't know if I would attribute a lot of the interceptions to a lack of separation. I think there's a lot of different reasons for it. But right now, he has the most games with 2 or more interceptions. And if your quarterback's turning the ball over, you're not going to win games. Joe Flacco's already been benched. Jake Browning, he's playing just because Joe Burrow, they don't got a lot of options there. And Brock Purdy has been hurt. But we've also seen his backup. They've got a great backup there with Mac Jones coming in and helping out as well.
He's playing good. And
another guy that got a second chance, another former first-round pick.
And Pete, kind of referred to the success that this team had on impactful plays in week 1. And from a defensive standpoint, of course, when we're watching film and we see, man, the deep balls are being completed and they're having chunk plays, of course you're going to have some kind of umbrella of a defense to force him to throw the ball in the middle of the football field and have to kind of decide between multiple underneath players to throw the ball to. And I think that's really what is surprising to me, that Geno is not better at those opportunities he getting in the middle of the football field, where, you know, you may have crossing routes and kind of understanding what crossing route is going to take the linebacker away. So now there's going to be open space. So those are things in the interceptions that are surprising to me, and the guys that sometimes he flat out are missing and not throwing the ball to. One of those situations near the end zone today where I thought he had the tight end coming across from right to left. I thought there was a clear opportunity for him to hit them. So I'm not sure if he's processing everything great. And you're right. Yeah. Sometimes when you're throwing interceptions, your body's just not going to allow you to put the ball in a situation where you could have if you haven't thrown so many interceptions.
And not only that, with Geno Smith and especially quarterback play, I can speak to a receiver. When I was dropping footballs, I was breaking the huddle like, please don't throw this to me.
No, you wasn't, JJ.
Because
you wasn't, JJ.
Yeah, confidence was shot, and that's all I'm saying. Right now, when you watch Geno Smith, I think his confidence is taking a little blow.
Yeah.
And you'll be crazy not to say nothing. You have thrown 9 interceptions in 4 weeks. It'll be crazy to say your confidence is not taking a blow. That's why you're not taking some of these chances out here. Right. So for me, when I watch Daniel Jones play today, you know what that coach said? You're not losing this game for us, sir.
Yeah.
That's how he called the game. We have a running back, and we are going to throw this ball short.
Yeah.
You're not going to wreck this game for us. Maybe we got to get him in some rhythm. Throw this ball short. Stop calling shot plays. Don't even send nobody deep. Stop calling shot plays. Let's get you in a rhythm. Let's make some smart throws. If we got to punt, we got to punt.
You dropped balls? I never thought that ever happened. Like once, maybe once.
Yeah, maybe
True serum
one
here.
ball. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we are told Geno Smith is taking the podium. We're going to bring you right out there. Coming up next on Raiders Game Day. Intermountain Health understands that life can be a challenging game, and mental wellness is vital to our overall health. It takes courage to admit when we're not okay, and even more to reach out. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, call or text 988 or visit strongestplay.com for mental wellness resources.
Good afternoon.
Geno, can you just kind of walk us through what do you think happened today? Not necessarily just with you, but with the entirety of the team, please.
Yeah, I think we lost the game today. We lost one game today, so that's a good thing. But I think we didn't come out, we didn't execute the way we're supposed to. It's the reality of it. We got to fix it. We got to get better. We got to go to work and figure it out.
Specifically, how do you fix those things, Geno?
Work harder, study longer, and, band together, become a tighter group. And I think we're already a tight group, but we got to get tighter as a group. And guys have got to lock in. I mean, it's a tough game. It's a one play at a time game, and they're going to face a tough team every week, man. That's the NFL. There's not going to be any easy game. So we got to get it in our mind that we're going to go out and win the game, and we're going to get it done. And until we do that, we'll have the same results.
Are you more resolved in that at this point rather than discouraged? Because it would be easy maybe to feel like this is a really uphill climb.
Man, I'm never discouraged. I think you guys know that about me. I don't have it in my body to be down or feel bad or feel sad. I don't have no pity in me. I'm gonna grind it out and I'm gonna figure it out. That's just how I am. Again, if something don't look right out there, put it on me. Offense, defense, special teams. If it ain't looking right, it's on me. So I'm gonna figure it out.
You guys were in a really good rhythm early, got the first drive of the game. It seemed like you were building something. How difficult is it to not be able to build off that? How tough is that?
Like I said, it's a one play at a time game, and what you do on the previous down does not matter. You got to stay in the moment. You got to execute in the moment, one play at a time. Nothing you did the last game, last season, last week, in practice, none of that stuff matters, man. It's about executing on game day, getting to the game, one play at a time, doing your job, every guy, all 11, doing their jobs on all sides of the ball, and taking the approach that we're going to get it done. There is nothing else that matters. This is the big boy leagues. This is the NFL. It's the best of the best. And you got to go out there and you got to get it done. And like I said, until we figure that out, we're going to have the same results.
You mentioned not getting too down after a game like this. What are the emotions after a game like this then?
My emotions is always solution-based. I'm looking at how can we be better? How can I be better for my guys? There's a lot of ways, There's a lot of ways, and I'm taking the approach that I have to do those things and be active and making the right choices and doing all the right things. So getting with the guys and figuring out how can I be better for them? How can I help them more in games? How can I help them more in the huddle? Again, this is a process, man. Like, I've seen this so many times. I remember when Jared Goff, it doesn't matter, but I remember when he went to the Lions and that whole process. Man, this is a process. It's process-driven, and a lot of time people focus on the results. But you can have good results sometimes with a bad process, and it'll catch up to you. And so we got to tighten down our process, and then the results that we want, they'll be there. But it's a process-driven game, and you got to focus on the process.
I saw you in the locker room right now talking with Pete a little bit. Can you share any of what you guys were talking about? Or?
That exact thing, the process, and how do we, really do what we're supposed to do throughout the week to make sure when we get into the game, it's clear for every single player. Everybody knows their assignment. They knows what they have to do. You're going to get beat sometimes. Like I said, it's the NFL. There's great guys all around. But the key is the down-to-down consistency, right? All of us, not anyone. I'm not pointing any fingers. Myself, I'm talking about the down-to-down consistency. We make splash plays, right? We got explosive plays. We'll do great things in spurts, but it's not consistent enough, and so that's where we're failing at.
Geno, when you say put it on you, I have a question. Your effort's there, but when you're throwing interceptions, are you almost pressing too hard? Are you trying too hard? What do you think you're doing?
I mean, you saw the first one. The ball got tipped up in the air. It was a guy wide open in the back of the end zone. It's been a touchdown. I saw 2 or 3 of their balls get tipped up in the air. And it's just, you got to go through the process, man. Like, again, the result is what the result was, and we hate it, and I hate it the most. But, again, the process is what I'm focused on. I feel like I did the right thing on that play. I threw it to the open guy, and it wasn't the result that I wanted. Well, am I going to say, well, don't read it the same way, don't throw it to the open guy? No, I'm going to throw it to the open guy. And 9 times out of 10, hopefully it's a touchdown. That one time it was tipped in the air and was an interception. The other one is a classic zone coverage. They're blitzing off the slot, playing cover 2. We got, a option route. God knows he's got to push up and sit. He's got to be quick. I mean, this is the NFL. Again, we're playing. I got a rookie receiver. We got to develop him. We got to learn. And it's not Dante's fault. It's not anyone's fault. It's life. And so what I'm doing here is I'm learning a lot, through these experiences. And as I go through life, I really enjoy that part of it, is that the experiences are what's going to make me better. So somewhere down the line, we're going to look back at this and say, those moments made us better.
All right, welcome back to Raiders Game Day. Let's take a look at our one big number, and it is a shocking one. We mentioned it at the beginning of the game. The Raiders defense gave up 89% on third down. 89% of the time. This was through the third quarter when they actually took their starters out at that point.
That's incredible.
We saw Anthony Richardson come in because they had such a big lead, but 89%, 8 for 10. That is a huge number. When people say this defense is playing so well, that's something that definitely, that Patrick Graham will be focusing on in practice. We got to go back out to break. When we come back, more perspective on this Raiders loss, 40-6 to the Colts. This segment of Raiders Game Day has been brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, the official soft drink of the Las Vegas Raiders. All right, so the Raiders have a hole to climb out of. They're 1-4. Here's what is coming up next on the schedule. They come back to Allegiant to face the Titans. That is a winnable game. Got to put a W on the board at home. Then they go to Kansas City, a team that's been playing better. So going to be tough going into the bye week, but a chance to possibly be 3-4 going into the bye week. Not a bad place to be. You can try to build, but a lot of things to work on.
Some of the things that Geno was talking about the process, that is so important, and we have to figure out how we can make that process turn into W's.
We just got to start playing for good football.
Yeah.
We can't worry about who's next. We got to worry about ourselves. We got to find a way to put some good pressure.
That'll do it for us. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time.